Hello. Good morning. Welcome into another episode of Good Morning NASDAQ. I'm your host, Don Master Mateo, joined by a good friend and colleague, Mr. Mike Hudson. How are we doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
He's doing well. I'm doing well. We're here to wrap up another week in March of 2024. Hope everyone had a great week. There was some opportunity this week. There was a lot of lessons to be learned. And I think overall we just had a good time. We just had a good time here. We got Joseph in the room, Wayne, Matthew, Blake. They're all fighting over who got the fourth or fifth like, which is reminds me at a perfect time. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're hitting that like button. We do try to keep it at 50% of overall viewership. So as you come in, as you start to get going with our pre-market prep, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. It helps the channel a lot. We do stream live every single morning, Monday through Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 8:45 a.m. And then Wednesdays we do live trading at 9:15 a.m. Alrighty, but also get in the chat over there on YouTube. Ask any questions about any tickers you want. Once we run through the list of gappers, which is what we do here in the mornings, talk about a little bit about the fundamentals, the news, the catalyst, the dilution, a little bit about the daily chart, and get you prepped and ready to go for the day with the small cap biggest runners. Alrighty, anything you want to say before we get going, Huddy?
No.
Please say something.
Okay. Yesterday we were excited about the market, and we were right to be excited about the market yesterday. Some awesome volatility and opportunity in SOUN for those that were prepared. Um, really, I feel like there was other opportunity that wasn't SOUN, but I just feel like this was probably the biggest magnitude of opportunity across the board. So to congrats to anyone who played, there's multiple sides to play. That's what I love when longs and shorts can all be happy and win together. Whether you're shorting, the morning parabolic, you're buying the panic dip buy, you're shorting it for a first red day, all that is good stuff. Um, and I expect today to be a bit more calm and kind of wrapping up the week. I mean, we haven't really had too many gappers this week. The beginning of the week was kind of a bit more active, and towards the end of the week here, it's all been about pretty much like SOUN kind of stole the show, at least from what I see. Um, yeah, so kind of, I don't know. My onslaught is to kind of take it easy. I mean, I don't really see a whole lot of action out there today. Today's not a day that I'm excited to make money because I don't really see a whole lot of stuff moving. I think I will make money, but I don't think I'm pushing too many buttons today.
Love it. Yeah, we talked about it yesterday, just kind of the ebbs and flows of small cap land and just how, it's not as much about being, you got to adjust to different market cycles. We also have to adjust on a week to week, day to day basis as well in terms of, the overall momentum. When is the real opportunity throughout the week? Since 2021, there really is not, has not been a lot of weeks where you're projected to make big money every single day of the week. There usually is 1 to 2 days every week where you're really supposed to be prepared, be ready to go for the volatility, for the action. And then if you miss those days, it doesn't mean that the next day, like it was in 2020 and 2021, where you were just given another three or five opportunities to do the same thing. So definitely thinking about today being a little slower. My own watch list is pretty light as well. But we trade on. If there's something to be traded from the watch list or something that I'm prepared for, I'm ready to get after it. If not, it is Friday, so the weekend is upon us, and hopefully next week there's another slew of opportunities. Let's get into it. The biggest gapper of the day is VERB, Verb
Oh, that is not
Technologies.
one I have.
Huh?
That is not one that I have.
It's on there.
Well, oh, that's why.
Why?
36 cents.
What is your minimum?
I don't know, probably 20, but probably needs to be the opening price
The
or the previous
opening
close
previous
price.
close. Verb Technology Company coming in at a 16.29 million float, red in all categories. Overall risk, offering ability, overhead supply, historical, and cash need. They're running with negative 1.6 months of cash. News 22 minutes ago is that their Market.live launches Facebook and Instagram social shopping technology integration. I know we've all been on the edge of our seats waiting for this news. I kid,
Yeah,
that is
me.
sarcasm. Um, They have an offering in progress from February. Got some warrants way higher, way higher, way higher. They have Ascendient ATM 953,000. A lot of stuff here, but I don't think a lot of it is ready to go at these price levels. Let's go through some of their old news. A lot of live streaming stuff, really about the market.live stuff. 3 months ago, they welcomed a hot fashion brand, Illumination, to their social shopping platform. I think this is one we've played in the past.
It's one that's been pumped in the past.
A big run from the 1s to the 3 area in September of last year. That might be it. Not a great history of runs past that one day. Gap and crap from November of last year. That's really the most recent big volume. Decent volume on these days, but that must have just been bad news. So it's kind of just coming off its lows right now. Obviously, top left, bottom right. Let me get a chart that's suitable here. Up 164% this morning. Started to make some moves here in the last 24 minutes. Pretty quick move from the 15 up to the 44 area. So almost a triple right there. What do we think, Huddy?
I think it's a bad sushi chart. You had this big run in September, got crushed days after, all the way through the lows and some. And here we are looking at a 14-cent stock just 3 months later from a high of 350. So that's usually not the best result after, 50 million shares gets put up there. I do believe you're going to have a lot of people. I guess this looks like a Twitter pump. I feel like people on Twitter probably got bagged, or there's a lot of overhead resistance. So any kind of spiking action is going to be hard to chew through that type of overhead volume. I don't really expect greatness from it. I kind of expect more of a candle that looks like, November 6th, where, it opens, it does its thing for a bit, and then it pretty much just does nothing. That's my hopes for it. That's what I think you get from this chart.
Trash man's here. Finally got the trash out. Missed last week.
Oh, nice.
Remember?
Yeah.
42 is the top from that day in November that Huddy is referring to. That is kind of the area we've already topped out in this morning. So see if that resistance plays out. Decent volume on that day. Would you say 52 million? Already a little over 20 right now. So we'll see if it has the oomph to get through that. Not a big fan of 30 to 70 cent stocks, really. In small cap land, love them in OTC world. But out here, 30-cent stocks, like they're even worse than the worst of the worst. And yeah, there is just massive resistance overhead. It's not a stock that has a big history of running besides that one day. The news doesn't seem groundbreaking to me. That's going to get it looks like something that they PR about a lot and often. And this is just the time it was finally able to get some volume and get off these levels. We still have 34 minutes till the open, so there's no saying this will still be over 100% up on the day by then as well, which is, again, I don't trade pre-market, so when we're doing this stuff 15, 30, 40 minutes before the open, I try not to get I try not to count my chickens before they hatch because you never know where these are actually going to be at the open, and I'm not all too interested in pre-market trends or trading them early in the morning. So it's kind of just about which ones survive to the open, where they're at in relation to the resistance overhead, and what prices are they at, and how much interest is there going to be. I don't anticipate there being a lot of people interested in shorting this for a gap and crap down at 30 cents, but we shall see. And so just for the most part, these have had a harder time historically running big than your $2, $3, $4 stocks with tiny floats. So not too much interest there for me, for all the reasons stated. We got any others on the list?
Yeah, I mean, JTAI is a gapper of sorts.
Talk to me.
Just an AI stock. that IPO'd, kind of a fresh chart from back when it IPO'd in July-ish, August, but since then has had at least one day of extreme volume, topping out in the threes and fours before getting absolutely crushed into the 60-cent region and now having probably a repump attempt. I mean, I imagine whoever's behind this ticker uh, knows that SOUN recently broke out, knows that small cap has been lukewarm, and is purposely putting out a PR to satisfy some type of agenda. That's what this chart sings to me as, and we've seen it before. We've seen it with like SECO and in the last AI run and stuff like that. It reminds me of those types of charts. So yeah, it's an AI ticker, and I think there's agenda afoot. Right now, where it is, it doesn't really impress me. It doesn't really I feel like it already had its run. First of all, kind of similar to what we said about the ticker yesterday or 2 days ago. I feel like it already had its run, it already had its pump, and from here on out, it's probably going to be not too interesting. But if you were kind of like long from yesterday, that'd have been sick.
Yeah, the kind of interesting company, Jet AI. They have these apps that I'm not sure if you use them to book private jets, but they're improving the private jet experience. Says they're a partner of the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
That's a good partnership.
But they have a platform 5 months ago, Charter GPT,
Charter.
now in the Android store. Recent DSPAC, minus 2.5 months of cash left. They got some SPAC warrants. Yeah, daily chart wise, I think Huddy kind of hit it on the head. Something that I note too, once you get past this big run from the end of last year, there is these days where it does pick up on volume and does like 4 to 6 million. And I don't know if those were attempts as well to try to get the stock back going, and they've all failed horribly. Every time it's just a green day with a little wick that comes right back down to where it came from within a day or two. Even this most recent one tried to get going from the 87-cent area up to the 140s or 130s, and then here we are making new lows yesterday. I don't see any news from yesterday or today, so I'm not sure if this is just one that broke all of its support yesterday, stopped some people out, and then today they just kind of pop it back up to get people to buy again. No interest here for me. I don't think this one's going to get a lot of attention and run. Like we talked about over the last few days, you've had SOUN kind of running in sympathy to SMCI and NVIDIA. But besides that, it's hard pressed to find a really good AI ticker that's actually had a sustained move. Besides that, your CXAIs, your BBAIs, your GFAIs, they're just not running. Like, this is not, you don't look at this chart and go, wow, there was a lot of sector momentum going on during that part of the chart. It just looks normal. It looks unable to run. And so I don't think on the backside of a lot of this momentum, when Soon's already had its second breakout and coming back down, that this is going to get a lot of attention for those reasons. 5 million float. There's potential if the right volume comes in that maybe it can take a move towards 150 to 2. But any higher than that, I start to think you run into this resistance on real volume from the end of last year. But up 60% on the day. I'll pass. Not really interested in short. Not really interested in a long on this type of chart. Pretty lackluster grouping of gappers so far this morning. The next one I have, is this right? Is this a 6-cent stock? BTTX. But no, thank you.
Better homes.
Huh?
Better homes.
Better Therapeutics.
Better therapeutics. I'm yawning so much today.
Because it's dark out.
Daylight savings. What do you want me to do with this one?
Nothing. I can't even, guys, we try to give you as much entertainment as possible and talk about all the stickers, but I can't talk about a 6-cent stock that gapped down from 20 cents yesterday to 4, and then now is just kind of having a first green day of sorts.
It's not really a ticker I want to know exists.
Yeah,
I don't want to know stocks that do this.
There are a lot of, I think too many people have the, when you're first 6 months a year.
I guess it's a gapper.
It's a gapper, 86%. but it's also 6 cents. If I had a problem with 30-cent stock, imagine how much problem I have with a 6-cent stock. Um, yeah, there are just a lot of charts I don't want to know exist, which is why for a decent part of my career, when I was really trying to not focus on what other people were trading, what other people, I really wanted to eliminate noise. Um, I stopped typing in new tickers after like 10 o'clock in the morning. Like if new people brought up stuff, like I just wouldn't look into it because I didn't need more things to potentially go chase and be distracted by. And it was for reasons like this. Like this is the last thing I want to add to my watch list. There's just not a whole lot going on here. Clearly bad news happened. I don't even need to look into it, but I will.
Don't.
Um, they're being
How much?
delisted.
Great.
So maybe one day when
Thoughts?
it's an OTC, it can do something great for us, but
Probably not.
that's the
Okay.
list unless anything else pops up.
I hope so. I hope they do pop up.
You're hoping they do pop up.
I like it when stocks pop up. I don't know why Verb is not on my generosity.
Scannerosity. JJ says slow week for me, not seeing much today either. Probably just sitting on hands until something sets up. That's probably the best mindset to have all the time, I think. But when you're just kind of being aware of the changing market on a week to week basis, I think it's also important to know what days you were supposed to make money and which days you are. I think it's a fool's errand to think you're supposed to make money every day or at least good money every day. I think the best traders know which days those are based off the opportunities at hand, and know which days and which weeks. The best case scenario is small green or break even, and if best case scenario is small green or break even, I think a lot of people would rather not trade those days or not be aggressive on those days because why make a situation that's just fine worse? Someone asked about thoughts on STI today. You know how much I love the question thoughts. Because most of the time, if I didn't talk about it, it means I don't have thoughts on it. So you just want me to talk about something I don't know anything about. Interesting kind of first green day there yesterday. I kind of saw this one yesterday when I was doing my watch list after its run from the 80s to the $3 area. Not really one that I'm ever really playing that much when you have this big of a gap down from the 130s down to 85 cents. You have all this built-in support on low volume. Usually I'd rather be playing off of that base and then into this resistance. But when we have to play into multiple more levels of resistance, I don't usually play them. But it did work out in the reversal type of manner in which 5-minute high break was down here at 95 cents. And it did end up pushing. It was not like an immediate first green day. It grinded, then went kind of parabolic at noon. But getting some action here pre-market, up 20%, retested those highs yesterday. This is kind of fits into that backside type of mindset for me. The part of the patterns that I'm really interested in when these stocks go through the life cycle is, that initial run. If it gets extended enough, then I'm looking for the short. If it consolidates up near those levels, I'm looking for the breakout, extended run, first red day, fade, backsides in. Will you stop messing with your camera? And then after the first green day, or the reversal, whatever, the bounce off of the lows, that's when the chart kind of becomes irrelevant to me. In this case, I won't delete it from my watch list just yet, but the main level of interest is all the way up here at $3. So when we're 100% away from that down here and the first green day is come and gone, I personally am not all that interested. Again, once it goes under like $1 again and fades, it will be deleted. But until we have a big day towards 270, 280, I won't be doing anything with it. Like if it does have that move, I won't participate in it, but I'll be aware of it, and then maybe it sets up for a multi-day breakout over the $3 area. But at this stage down here, this is an easy avoid, no edge for me. Just understanding where we're at in the spectrum of the daily chart. Coffee's delicious.
That's so glad it was invented.
Me too.
Like, of all the things that could have been invented, coffee was a good one.
I agree. I tend to agree. Thomas asked thoughts on Fisker.
Fisker, didn't they just go bankrupt too?
What's the ticker?
FSR. It's like a BTTX wannabe.
Yeah, I don't know if Tom's messing with us or not. No
Probably
thoughts.
not.
No thoughts. I don't see any big green days.
Just see big red days.
Yeah. Oh wait, I didn't put the chart up for all you, but yes, no range, no nothing. It's a real company. They're the ones that make scissors, right?
Scissors.
Aren't they school supplies or something? No,
How would I know?
I just typed it in.
Fisker?
What is
Fisker. Fisker's
auto
not school
manufacturer?
supplies. You fucking
What's the school supplies one that makes scissors and stuff? It starts with
Elmer's?
F. Come on.
Elmer's glue?
No, that's just the glue. There isn't. It has to be Fisker, but it's not this Fisker.
Okay. It's
Someone will
definitely
come to
not
my.
that Fisker. That Fisker is like Henry Fisker. You know? Henry?
Everyone's saying Fisker's cars, but there's something that makes scissors. Now I'm going to look up scissor companies.
Oh boy.
Scissor companies. Well, it looks like there's.
Scissor companies?
This is annoying me.
Those look dangerous.
I'm out here on Good Morning NASDAQ shopping for scissors. Whatever. Fiskars, someone says. There's a different spelling of it.
Dominic,
Yes.
stop it.
All right. Any other ticker? Someone said Fannie Mae top watch. It's a nice looking daily chart. Oh my, that's not really a print, is it?
I feel like a bit late to be saying that, but yeah. It's pretty good looking daily chart.
Setting up again.
I don't know about
TJ
that.
says, do you think news matters in small cap for shorting? What do you think, Mr. Short Seller?
I think no. I think less, more and more. I'm surprised by the reactions to news releases. I think.
Well, how
I
about
don't know.
this? How
It's
about
tough.
this, Huddy? Does news matter at 4:15 in the afternoon when the stock's not doing anything? If you're trying to short it 5 minutes later,
I mean, yeah.
yes. But once the news is
And
out
that
for 2 days and we have runner,
okay. I think no matter what the pre-market news is, there's very little significance or correlation to what the stock is going to do throughout the day, given all news types that can come out in the pre-market, right? Obviously, there are going to be very few that have a strong correlation to what the price is going to do that relates to what the news article is. But most of the time, if you read something and it sounds good, you still have no idea what the price action is going to do. If a biopharmaceutical has done phase 2 news, if they released earnings, if they got FDA clearance, if they partnered with NASA, whatever the news thing is, it's very hard to be able to tell what the stock is going to do based off that news piece. It's almost like not, you're almost not able to even infer, is what I'm trying to say, to answer the question.
or what you're actually saying is you could never come up with a strategy that says when this type of news comes out, this is what I'm going to do and it's going to work 80% of the time.
Correct. Now, I would obviously, what you asked me was like, if there's a breaking news play in the after hours where let's just use AMC, like the ATM, it like turns out they got the ATM and they have to use it today. Like you can short that, news because you know that it's going to have a direct effect on the stock. It's fundamental news. Um, and that's kind of different than does news have an effect on stocks, which is, I think, the question.
I think it has an effect, but to the extent of predicting what the stock's going to do for the next 5 days, I don't think it has big of an effect as people think.
And again, some news, like if it is a big ATM on a stock that needs cash, like they're probably going to use the ATM for the next 5 days until there's no liquidity. Like that, in that case, I could make an argument for it. I don't even know if that's really what you would consider news, though. Like I consider news as like you come to the market open, like Verve, stock is gapping up 200% on the day, and you're going to sit here and tell me that the news is either going to determine whether it's going to hold up or fall apart. The answer is no. Like it's not based off the news. It's based off of other conflicting, factors that are baked into the stock market. Then the news on Verve is meaningless, in my opinion.
Which is why we don't spend too much time on the catalyst. We note it. There are very few catalyst where we're actually like the lunar one, I think is the only one in the last like 6 months where we actually were brought it back. Like that's some interesting news. And
That was interesting news.
it still didn't directly correlate to us clicking buy 5 seconds later.
I never clicked buy.
I never did either. Wish I did.
But look at it now, right? I mean, yeah, I mean there are, again, that's why it's so hard to make the blanket statement, because there are like forward-looking catalysts. There are like news pieces that move stocks, but I think most news that you read at 9 a.m. coming to market open that is affecting, small cap is smoke and mirrors. You don't have any significant edge. So if you look at it and you say, oh, it's earnings and it's gapping up 200%, it must be good earnings, you're wrong. It does not have to be that scenario at all. It could be a number of different reasons as to why it's up 200% on good earnings.
Yeah. And someone said, let the chart be your news. And for all those reasons, that's why I'm primarily a technical trader, and I want to avoid the times, because news does matter. Like the day that Lunar landed on the moon, that was a very volatile after hour session, right?
And then tipped over.
And yeah, and I don't want to be a part of breaking news plays coming 1 hour after the next. So it's important to understand when news is going to happen, what the catalysts are, forward looking, holding through earnings, never a great idea. Even if you think it's going to be good, it can be good and it can still fail. Like these are things you just inherently will learn. You can either listen to us or you can learn them yourself through a lot of after hours pain or waking up to gaps in ways you never expected. Yeah, let news be a way to get these stocks on your radar. Let the technicals be a reason why you take the trade. All right, everybody. I hope that you have had a phenomenal week. We're wrapping up this week. No Kyle this week. Quite sad. I miss him already. He's out cruising, enjoying himself in the Caribbean, having his half a margarita a day, enjoying life. But I hope you guys have had a great week. Hope we've had fun over here on YouTube with us. We'll be back live Monday morning, 8:45 a.m. For all you 4-leaf clovers, Huddy has his webinar at 11 a.m. this morning, and he will be giving that here soon. If you want access to that 7-day, $7 trial, link in the description, or just sign up for 4-leaf clover, and you'll get access to it. 2 live webinars every single week. Video lessons, watch list, the room, trade alerts, all that good stuff. If you want access, reach out to support or head on over to clovertrading.io. Hope you all have a great weekend. I hope wherever you're at in the world, you have good weather. And, be the best version of yourself you can be. And close the week out strong. And we'll see you first thing